This week on Maker Update, a Superman robot made from plastic, machines to help you work out, a flying LED display, and animatronic nightmare fuel for your Halloween decorations. Hello and welcome back to Maker Update, the show where we find all of the coolest stuff that makers are making to share it with. I'm Tyler Weygarner and I hope you're all doing great. Let's get this show going with the project of the week. Check out this impressive life-sized robot from the recent Superman movie made by Kiara's workshop. She loves to challenge herself with every single one of her builds, which is why she committed to building an animatronic version of the Superman robot by herself in just over a month's time. Her first step is sketching out the basic shape of the robot so she can understand where all the points of actuation needed to be. She then began modeling and designing all of the parts in Blender. And as each piece came off the print bed, she was able to experiment with the animatronic movements. The eyelid pieces slide along this linear rail actuated by a pair of servos. Instead of programming all the movements using an Arduino, she's controlling everything via a remote transmitter. One of her discoveries in this process is that your transmitter needs to operate at specific frequencies in order to access the full range of motion in your servo. The way she's finishing the printed pieces also deserves special mention. She's printing all the pieces in ABS and then smoothing them with acetone vapor. She then airbrushes on this chrome paint, which can be dyed to get specific shades of metal. It seems a lot easier than the standard prime sand process, and it looks strikingly realistic. There's just so many great lessons to learn here, like how to use bearings to support heavy joints so it isn't just up to the servo to do all the heavy lifting, and how to mix the inputs from the transmitter so the robot will automatically pivot its body when the head rotation reaches its limit. She also realized that using a fan to recirculate the acetone vapor will help it smooth the parts with more consistency. By the end of the project, she went over her time budget by 8 days and did receive a bit of help along the way. She also had to disable some of the lower body movements because she didn't have access to strong enough servos to safely make those movements. But whatever, this thing looks outstanding and it's an incredible achievement. Check out the full build video, it's well worth your time. More projects. ChargedHex hates doing push-ups. That's probably a lot of us actually, which is why he's built a machine that will do them for him. The machine itself is a framework of wood and linear actuators that lifts him up and brings him back down again. That sounds simple enough, and it kinda is. And I don't mean to put ChargedHex on blast here, but the joy of this video is the journey. We're bound to learn something new with every single project we take on, but we all learned the most on our very first project, and he's documenting the entire journey here. Realizing he's going to need 4 motors instead of 2, learning to machine so he can build better mounting points, and using power tools because they can be more precise than hand saws. And this ingenious solution of using a servo motor to trigger 2 different switches to reverse the direction of the motors. It's an incredible story to watch it play out. Concept Crafted Creations has made this flying persistence of vision display. This is essentially a quadcopter with a long vertical axis running through its center. Attached to the top and bottom of it is a rotating hoop of tightly packed addressable LEDs. Once he figured out how to reduce the weight of the LED hoop by making it from fiberglass rod, he then tackled the biggest problem with the design: how to keep the hoop from spinning the drone once it begins rotating. His solution to this is very similar to the tail rotor from a helicopter. He's added 2 more propellers facing in opposite directions and applying a counter-rotating force, so that as the LEDs spin up, it can counteract the forces. And I love seeing the use of a load cell to determine the forces he needs to counteract. It's an impressive project and really cool to see it lit up once it's airborne. To get into the Halloween spirit, Wicked makers are creating an animatronic of the character Figure from the game Doors. This is a creature with a massive mouth and no eyes, so it hunts by hearing you. After a few tests to see how they can get the right look for the body while keeping things light, they harvested the animatronic mechanism from a store-bought werewolf decoration. The werewolf originally triggered its animation using an infrared sensor, but they were able to solder in a replacement microphone sensor, and it worked perfectly. Time for some tips and tools. In keeping with the Halloween spirit, we have a great tip from Make Strange Things on how to make Halloween pumpkins from spray foam. The process begins by making a silicone mold from an actual pumpkin. There's a ton of great tips, from extending the base mold using cardboard and how to determine the volume you'll need. There's still some voids present after casting the expanding foam, but you can just embrace these imperfections when you go to paint them. Super cool and extra spooky. Over on Instructables, we have another great tip on how to add animation to your store-bought skeleton, courtesy of Martiro 7. The goal here is to add some movement to the jaw through the use of a single motor and a 3-bar linkage. While in their example they also have some Adafruit monster eyes displays adding some animation, this is an otherwise fairly lo-fi project, mostly using hardware you can find at your hardware store. And I really love this reaction video from the Essential Craftsman, watching how a house is framed under Japanese construction. Like with so many of his videos, this is one part technical appreciation and one part philosophy lesson. It's great to see examples of intricate Japanese joinery used in practice instead of just as a viral video, but you get to see lots of practical solutions to construction, as explained by the Essential Craftsman. It's good stuff. And from Pixel Precision, we have this 3D printed design for a mini storage cabinet. There's a lot of designs out there for this sort of thing, but what sets this one apart is that the drawers fold up into its final form, similar to a cardboard shipping box. I have to imagine the benefits here are a reduction of material usage and maybe printing time. But regardless, it's a super cool concept. For this week's DigiKey Spotlight, we have the latest entry in Shawn Hymel's series about ROS, or the Robot Operating System. In this video, he's going on a deep dive about the results you may encounter and the differences between programming your bot in Python versus C++. Generally speaking, Python is a lot easier to program thanks to its simplified syntax, but it is far less performant. Check out the full video for all the details. Alright, and that is going to do it for this week's show. A reminder, as always, that you can get more info about every single one of these projects by checking out the links down in the description. While you're there, leave us a comment, give us a thumbs up, and hit subscribe so you won't miss the next one. As always, huge thanks to DigiKey for making this show possible and to you for watching. Take care. We'll see you soon.